let's get the show on the road. I'm sure we're going to have some questions coming in. We already got the first one coming in on TikTok. Tracy, we see you. Thank you, Tracy. You just got a #3 gifter badge. I don't really know what that means all the time, but I appreciate it. So again, I'm your host, Deshaun. I'm publicly known as Deshaun, the Auto Advisor. And what I focus on doing, what we'll be talking about over the next hour or so, is the 7 steps to making sure you pay less than everyone else is paying for cars. It's 7 steps. So if you can move with a predictable system, instead of winging it, you'll find that you're going to enjoy the process. You're going to have confidence through the process, and then before you ever make a deal, you're going to have what we call price assurance, which is the guarantee that there was no better deal in the market. Okay, so let me get on Instagram. Dolan, I see we got the first question on TikTok. I see we're having some problems streaming on Facebook. No problem. You can continue to work that in the background. If we can get on Facebook, that'd be great. But if not, then we'll just check in on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So let's get the show on the road. You can bring the first question in, Dolan, whenever you pull it. Okay, this one says, hi, just paid off my Enclave. Now I don't want it. So the first step in our 7-step process is to ask yourself how many years you're going to keep the next car. So I want everybody who is shopping for a car right now to answer those questions in the chat. Let us know if you are shopping or you will be shopping in the next 12 months. Handyman, good to see you. Leon, good to see you. Let us know how many years are you keeping the next car. This is something we call the most important question. This is the most important question. All right, I see 2 to 3 years. Let us know. I can see everybody on Instagram. Let me know. How many years are you keeping the next car until it stops running? I see you, Unio. Okay, these are different. I'm going to tell you why. As we get more answers, I'm going to show you how to use your answer to make sure you put your car deal on the right foundation. Because when we call this the most, I see you, CBD Scampy on Instagram, 8+ year. So you sound like you know the 8-year rule. So I like that. If you don't, everyone's about to find out what the 8-year rule is. When I was in the dealership, I worked for 5 years with Mercedes. I worked for 5 years with General Motors. What I noticed was there was a continual problem with short-term owners. When they came to replace their cars, they either had negative equity or they were very unhappy with the amount their car was worth. Who can relate to that? Who can relate to that? You've gone into the dealer. Once you look at how much your car is worth, you either like, man, that's all my car is worth, or you always have negative equity every time you go to do another car deal. You're like, man, I owe 20. My car's only worth 16. This is the problem, and this is the cause. The problem is you're a short-term person, but you enter into car transactions like a long-term person. A long-term person is going to keep their car, pay it off, and they're going to get to something we call this in my book, in our system, the reward stage. The reward stage is when your vehicle is paid off, and it is no longer depreciating at a rapid rate. So let me ask a question. If we buy a $40,000 vehicle today, how much is that vehicle worth in 1 month? Throw some numbers out there. What's up, Thomas, Eli, Caleb Stone? If we buy a $40,000 vehicle today, how much is that vehicle worth in just 1 month? 1 month, we come back later and we say we want to replace it. All right, Unio, 35. All right, I like that. Throw some numbers out there. Let's go. I'm trying to see everybody on Instagram. Only person I see that commented so far is CBD Scampy. Let's go. Let's go. Instagram, y'all usually, you know, if you don't know, if this is your first time on a broadcast with us, the people who get the most out of what we do and the people who end up paying less than everyone else, They're always engaging. When I ask a question, we dialogue here. It's not something we just sit back and watch casually. So throw out some numbers. How much is that vehicle worth? I see 30,000. All right, Potate 41 said 30,000. CBD Scampy said 32,000. Crump 28 on TikTok said 28,000. Okay, so the question was, if you just jumped on, if we buy a $40,000 vehicle, what is it worth in 1 month? Now, we got ranges from 28 to 35. Let me tell you how nobody's wrong. If you don't drive it much, even if you don't drive it 1 mile, you come back and it's worth 35. They're not giving you what you paid for it. We're starting to see, and this is why this is the first question you should be asking yourself is how many years I'm going to keep the car, because what you're doing is you're planning for how you're going to beat depreciation. That's what you're doing. Depreciation is what we call the unseen expense. I want you to remember that. The unseen expense. Wait, that had nothing to do with my car payment, but we throwing out numbers that say 35. Some people said 28. Now, how could it be worth 28? Deshaun, how could a car that just bought for 40 be worth 28 in a month? Let me ask you a question. Let's just say the person bought the car, hypothetically, put 20,000 miles on it in 1 month. Come back 1 month later, 20,000 miles. They took it on a trip around the country, came back 20,000 miles. Could that car be worth 28? Could that car have depreciated that much because of the usage? Yes? Yes or no? Exactly. Thank you. Shout out to the locked in people. Anytime you locked in, you know, you just throw the lock emoji up. That means you locked in. Casual. You know, the casuals, it's hard for you to win over here with us. Everybody can win using what we're teaching, but you got to be locked in. So now what we're seeing is we need to account for depreciation, because when I buy my vehicle, depending on how I use it, I'm losing thousands of dollars in value. And when I go to replace that vehicle, I have to deal with the real value based on depreciation and usage. So here's how we make it very easy. And I think CBD Scampy is onto it. Something we call the 8-year rule. The 8-year rule says if you're not buying your car to keep it at least 8 years. I see you, Ann Ellis. See you, Busy Bee. Natalie, shout out to everybody checking in on TikTok. If you're not buying your car to keep it at least 8 years, then you should not be buying. You should be shopping for a below market lease. There's only 2 types of purchases we make here with the Cars from Home system that we teach. Below market leases, below market purchases. Because you can go out and purchase and you can pay more than ever. You can pay market value or above market value. You didn't get a good deal. You didn't get the best deal. Or you can go out and lease, because some people be like, wow, Deshaun, I see these leases on the commercials. They say we need $5,000 down and we need to put, the payment's going to be $400 a month plus taxes and fees. They told me I need to put like $7,000 down. That's not what we do. That's a market value lease or above market. You look at somebody like Raphael, got her 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $46,000 vehicle. All she did was first month's payment. She's paying $549 a month. That's a lease. See, she's not going to tie up her money in the vehicle because she knows she's not keeping it long enough for it to make sense to tie up that money in the vehicle. When you're getting below market leases, what you're doing is you are tying up a very small amount of money every month, a small monthly payment relative to the car you're driving, and you're keeping your cash in the bank or somewhere where it's not in a car. If you are purchasing, you're putting the money in the car, you're investing in the car. Your car could be worth $18,000, but until you sell that car and get the equity out, that money is in the vehicle. And what you're going to see is if you continue to buy vehicles that you don't keep for 8 years, every time you go to replace them, you're going to not be happy with what they're worth. And you are going to be, if you have loans, 5 or 6, or God forbid, longer than that, loans, 6 years is the max we teach, you're going to find you always have negative equity. You cannot beat depreciation in the short term. So So to answer your question, who says, I just paid off, I believe this was Tracy, said, I just paid off my Enclave, now I don't want it. The first thing we need to do, the first step, is to ask ourselves, how many years am I keeping the next vehicle? If it's less than 8, we're shopping for a below market lease on our next vehicle. Because and then now what we're going to do is you're going to move to step 2 in our process, which is we're going to do an equity assessment on this car. So I want you to jump off the chat once we finish the stream. You're going to go to these 6 buyers. These are 6 online buyers. You don't want to trade vehicles. That's a curse word here. Great vibes. Good to see you checking in. Michael Hager, good to see you. Thomas Nelson, good to see you. You want to go to these 6 buyers online because everything we do is online so that we're in control, so that we're having fun. We make our car deals right from our living room so that nobody can pressure us and we can put the whole market against each other. Go to CarMax, go to Driveway, go to Carvana, go to Car Gurus, Sell My Car, go to KBB, Cash Offer, and go to AutoNation, Cash Offer. That now we're moving from the first step in the process, which is the most important question, and we're moving into what we call the equity assessment. That's step 2. Before you can think about shopping for your next vehicle, you need to find out what's the most you can get for your current vehicle. That makes sense, type a $. And I know this is, you got to understand, who's this? If this is your first time on the stream with us, type the number 1. Type the number 1 real quick, and I'm going to tell you why we do the equity assessment now, not later. If this is your first time, type the number 1. You've never been on a stream with us before, number 1. I see you, Joyce. I see you. Thank you. Okay. First time people, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on TikTok, type a 1 if this is your first time. Tracy Smith, welcome. Okay, Potato 41, welcome. Welcome. Oh, all right, Toy, I see you. Welcome. All right. We're teaching a 7-step system. Nothing that I'm teaching you is winging it. Everything I'm teaching is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's the master blueprint for do-it-yourself, cars from home. Everything is in there. Below market shopping, below market leases, below market purchases, banks, bidding wars, getting loans, how to make everybody bid for your business. That book's already 5-star rated. You can Google it on Goodreads. Thank you to everyone who's reviewed it. It's normally $97, but it's part of our welcome offer. You can get it for 75% off, which is $24. If you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, we have a special link for you to get yours for 75% off, but it's only for 30 minutes. That's our welcome offer. After that, the price goes back up to $97. So you won't leave the broadcast. Click those links. Grab your book before the 30 minutes expired, and you'll have everything we're talking about and more at your disposal for the rest of your life, because the car business is not going to change. They're like, it would need a total overhaul. They're making too many billions to change anything. So now, the reason why we do the equity assessment now is because, and I know many people have told you, who's heard this before? Don't tell the dealers you have a trade until the end. Who's heard that before? Type just type me. I heard it. Yep, I heard that. I've heard that. Don't tell them you have a trade in until the very end, right? This has been around since 2005. Before I got into the car business, this was around. Okay, helicopter. Okay, so we're familiar with this advice. Let me tell you why this is bad advice. The reason why my book and my system is all about, our system is all about saving the most time and the most money. We don't want anyone wasting our time either. We don't have time to waste. When you go and you do all this work to negotiate your deal, and you're negotiating, which we don't do, but if you're going to do it, you gotta go. You spent all this time in a dealership. All right, I think I got this guy down. All right, I feel good. Now, let me spring my trade in on him. What happens when the money you thought you were going to get is not what they want to pay? You either now have to make a choice. Now you got to make a choice. Man, I thought I put all this time in, and I thought I was going to get 18 for this. You trying to give me 15.5. Now you're either you've actually leveraged yourself. You've negotiated against yourself. All that work for nothing. Exactly. Because now what you're going to do is you're going to go through the mental game of, all right, do I just take the offer? I put all this time in. Maybe I try to get them up a little bit more. Shoot, now you're leaving with buyer's remorse if you make the deal, because you're like, man, I feel like, man, I thought my car was going to be worth so much more than that. This is why we don't do it later. We do our equity assessment step 2. Before we ever even start shopping, we're going to go to those 6 buyers that I named about 5 minutes ago. Thank you, Joyce. And we're going to find out what cash buyers will pay for our vehicle quickly. You go have a meeting with CarMax, they do an inspection, they go into the accounting department, they bring you a check. It's that quick. We're going to find out what these people will pay for our vehicle, because that's going to tell us, even if the dealer we end up buying the vehicle from cannot give us the offer we want, we simply go and sell to them. And many times, quite honestly, they're going to pay more than what this dealer is going to pay. So those are the first 2 steps. Okay, for you, I'm not going to give you any more than that right now, because that's what I want you to focus on. Okay, this is a step-by-step playbook. I don't like giving everybody all the 7 steps, because when you actually start working and following these steps, when you start skipping steps ahead, you're going to just ruin yourself and you're going to get overwhelmed. Everything we do is a checklist. Once this is checked off, you've answered the first question, most important question. How many years am I keeping the car? You said 2 to 3. That means I should be shopping for a below market lease, not a purchase. Now let me move to my next step, equity assessment. That's what I just told you to do. Do that. Then we move to the next step. Okay? Because there's 7 steps. After the equity assessment, we structure our deal. And what we do is we see, what is a deal going to look like on this vehicle, if it is a good deal. If I want to lease this $50,000 vehicle, what would that look like if it was a good deal? If I'm going to go purchase a vehicle, what is it I'm coming up with what am I going to spend? I have something we call, I'm going to make this available soon. We have something we call the perfect budget calculator. We invented it. We wrote the code for it, because what I found is people kept going out shopping, and they were shopping, oh, I want to spend $30,000. I want to spend $30,000. They go in, they spend 34 because they didn't think about the taxes, the fees. Or they go in, who's done this before? All right, listen, honey, we're going to go in, we're going to spend $500 a month. That's our budget, $500. And then you go in there and you end up leaving at $575. Who's done that? Can we be honest? Type $signs if you've done that before. You go in, you got this number in your head, you end up leaving higher than that number, right? Let's go. Come on. If we're going to win here, thank you. Tracy can't be the only one being honest. Thank you, Sam. I see you, Sam. Come on. Listen, you may think this is the, I said this over 2 years ago when I first came online. I'm the bad news first person. You're going to feel like as we talk, you made a lot of mistakes. But in order for me, I'm like a doctor. The doctor is going to give you the bad news first, but the good doctor is going to tell you how to fix it. But if I don't tell you how you're losing thousands of dollars on these cars, how you're overpaying by purchasing when you should be leasing, how not making dealers bid for your business, you're overpaying by 3, 4, 5, 10 grand, some of you, because you're trying to negotiate and you don't realize you're negotiating with a dealer that's never going to go below a certain price, because every dealer is not the same. Every dealer is in fact different. Every Nissan dealer who's selling you a Nissan Pathfinder is selling it at a different price. But they want you to think it's a universal price. They want you to think every dealer is going to charge you this. No one's going to pay less than, but that's an absolute lie. And the only way for you to see that is to start getting multiple offers. My 2 favorite words, multiple offers. And when you get multiple offers, you're going to see, wow, these dealers were charging me 3, 4, 5, 10, 7 grand, 10 grand more than these other dealers. Then now you know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Okay? So all of this is out of my new digital book. Let's type some more questions because that was a great question. It allowed us to go into detail about things. Let's get some more questions in. I can't see everybody checking in on Instagram. Let me see if it'll let me. Let's get some more questions in. So keep typing your questions. I see we got another one coming in, and we'll get to as many as we can. So we try. I got Dolan. We're on YouTube. We Facebook's having problems with us live streaming right now. That's okay. But if we're on we might be able to, if you're seeing this on Facebook, just stay on. We'll get your questions answered because what I found is most times someone else is going to ask the same question you have. I've been doing this since 2006. There's only about 30, 35 questions that can be asked, quite honestly. Actually, meant more like 50. More like 50. So if you just really hang around, you're going to see, wow, that's the same question I needed to get answered. So, all right, let's go. Dolan, I see we got a couple more coming in on TikTok. Let's get this one in. I'm at the end of my lease. Can you talk third-party restriction process? You're intending to leave Honda. So a third-party restriction says this is connected to the equity assessment. During the pandemic, every vehicle was worth $7,000 to $12,000 more than it really was worth. Demetrius Bab, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Illmatic Skills. During the actual pandemic, a vehicle that would be normally worth 28 was worth 35, 37. Some SUVs that would normally be worth 55, they were worth 70. So what we started teaching is I went very, very deep on the equity assessment process at that particular time. Getting bids and people at the end of the lease. Who didn't know you could sell a lease? Let me ask that question. If you did not know you could sell a lease, type question mark. Type question mark if you didn't know. If this is new to you, you've never heard this before. Wait a minute. What do you mean I could sell a lease? How could you sell a lease if you don't even own it? Type question marks if you never heard that you could sell a lease before. Let's see. All right, I see you, Yuhio. I see you, Galen Hobart. I see you, Nathan Lowe. All right, I see you. If you did not know, some of you have been leasing cars and you didn't know that you could sell that lease at the end, or you can sell that lease through the process. They call me Wick. All right, yep. Okay, so a lot of you didn't know. Now, every lease is not going to have equity. In fact, most leases are not going to have equity. But what we need to do before we return any lease is do an equity assessment. I like to do this around 6 months because what you don't realize is when you get out of your lease early, you're actually rolling the payments over to your next lease. Some of you who the dealer has called you and said, hey, Mrs. Jones, good news. Hey, tell Larry, that you guys could get out early. If you come in, I could get you out of the lease early. Really? Oh, really? Wicked. So now they're getting you in. They're getting you both in. Hey, come on in. Hey, Mr. Pittman, we can get you in early. Who's gotten these calls before? There's no curtain. I'm a former car salesman. So we are in the car industry every day. I was in it. I know the calls. I've had to make the calls. If you've gotten the calls, type $signs. This is why when they tell you, oh, don't worry about the old payments, we'll take care of them, they're rolling those payments over. Breaking a lease contract, you must account for the payments. So what they're doing is they're trying to get you excited about the new car enough to get you to make a move now so that you don't do what this gentleman's doing, is talking about leaving Honda. They want to get you, let me get you into a new Honda lease before your lease ends so you don't think about leaving Honda. But we don't want to break a lease contract unless we can without financial penalty. This is when the equity assessment comes in. So what we need to do is go to those 6 buyers that I said earlier, CarMax. Everybody should be doing this at first of all, if you ever think about getting out your lease, this is the first thing you do. This will sober you up. When you look and say, all right, let me think about, man, you know what? Let me see if I could get out of this early. I got a year left. Let me see. You get your offers. You call your leasing company, you get your payoff. You can do this too, because many of you don't know you can sell a vehicle that you have a loan on. There's some people, if you didn't know that you could sell a vehicle with a loan on it. Thank you to Lisa. I see you. Thank you for sharing the broadcast. You can actually, there's people who was taught, I need to wait for my title. I can't go replace my car. I don't have the title. All of this stuff is bad information. It's not true. So you will simply call the bank, ask for the payoff, and then you're going to go to those 6 companies, get your cash offers: CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB cash offer, KBB cash offer, AutoNation cash offer, CarGurus cash offer. Now that's going to tell you right then and there. That's going to tell you right then and there, wait, my payoff is 20, but my highest offer is 17. I can't get out right now. I can't break this contract. No problem. You shouldn't be looking to get out of the lease early if you really got a vehicle you like and you got a super low payment, which is the whole purpose of leasing. Get a vehicle you love, brand new vehicle. Nobody ever drove it before. You're the first owner, and you're paying a beautiful car payment because you shop, got a below market lease, made dealers compete. What's the reason to get out of this? Drive it 3 years, and then we make a move. But if you, now let's just say the opposite. Let's say you're like, man, Deshaun, but I see my payoff is 20, but my highest offer is 23. Okay, the market value of your vehicle is higher than the actual payoff. If you don't have a third-party restriction, then you can simply sell to them and they'll cut you a check for the $3,000. We would go shop for our vehicle first. That's when we move into shopping for our vehicle. And then when we find our next vehicle, we lock it up and then we go sell our old vehicle. We pick up our $3,000 check. We're selling to the highest bidder always. We're buying from the lowest bidder always. We're not mixing these things. Mixing these things is where the money gets lost. Dealers want you to come in and get a loan from them, buy your car from them, and trade or sell your old car to them. That's 3 transactions in one. Every time you have gone into a dealership, bought a car from them, got a loan from them, and traded your car or sold your car to them, that's 3 transactions in one that you gave them, which means you did not bid out any part of those transactions, which means there's no way you can guarantee that you got the best deal on any of those transactions. So going back to how we look at if we have a third-party restriction, like Honda does. I see you, Craig Boone. Shout out to Craig Boone on YouTube. I see you, brother. Locked in. When going back to what we're talking about with a third-party restriction, what you're going to do is see this. If I have a third-party restriction, it doesn't mean I can't sell. It means I can only sell to a dealer that makes the same car. So if I have a Honda, I can only sell to a Honda dealer. But what I said 10 minutes ago, everyone's going to pay a different price. So after you get your numbers from those 6 cash buyers, I have a script in my book. It's a simple script. We call the dealerships and we're going to get offers from them. 3 offers minimum. 3 offers minimum. Hey, I got a Honda that I like to sell. They're already going to know if it's a lease when they ask you for the VIN number. They're going to say, wow, okay, it's a 3-year-old car. These are the cars we want. Dealers only get cars for their inventory, buying them from auction, buying them off lease, or somebody trades them in. A nice 3-year-old vehicle, 2.5, 3-year-old vehicle, they love to buy it. So we want to get multiple offers from them if we have equity. But the first thing you want to do is go to those 6 companies to see if you even have equity. The only time you should be looking to sell your lease is if you verify that, hey, I have equity. Either my vehicle has a high resale value or I'm a low mileage driver. I have equity. If not, no problem. But we're never going to return a lease without running an equity assessment. That's how you accidentally or inadvertently give dealers $3, $4, $5 grand. And you're like, man, then they're like, you'll never know about it. And unfortunately, you've done it. Okay, so everything that we're talking about, let's keep the questions coming. These are great questions today. Great questions. Everything we're talking about is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. It is the do-it-yourself blueprint. Everything that I'm teaching is out of that book. Every part of this system, it's a 7-step predictable process. You're not going to wing this anymore. This is a 5-figure transaction. Some of you buying Bentleys, some of you are buying AMG vehicles, Ferraris. These are multiple 6-figure transactions that you are winging. You're not going to do that anymore. You're going to shop with a system that creates competition, where you sit at home and you use the internet to actually make people bid, so that you guarantee you paid the lowest price you could have paid, so that you guarantee you got the most money for your old car you could have gotten. And not quite honestly, you're going to enjoy it. Because instead of being in a dealership feeling that pressure, you're going to be at home in control. So the book is normally $97. It's a digital book. It'll be in your inbox by the time this stream ends, and you'll have it for the rest of your life to use. But as part of our welcome offer, you can get it for 75% off, which is $24. But the welcome offer is only 30 minutes. So if you want to grab your copy, it's in my TikTok bio. Click that link in my Instagram bio, in the YouTube comments, or in the Facebook comments, and you will see the link for 75% off. And then it's in your inbox. For those of you who would like us to work together, you're more of a done with you person. Deshaun, how can I work with you, get questions answered from you? Instead of books, I like to watch some short videos. There's another button in there for a special offer. See if you qualify for the shop with me. That's not for everyone. Everyone's not going to qualify, and that might not be your learning style. If your learning style is, Deshaun, I can follow a simple set of steps, then you want to get your book. But if your learning style is, hey, you know what? Hey, Deshaun, I see you sharing a lot of these people. I see you sharing Raphael. I see you sharing India's deal. I see you sharing Melissa's deal. All of these people you share on these streams, where are they at? They are in our Cars from Home Done With You program, where we have a community of 1,500 people on Facebook, and we do coaching calls twice a month on Zoom. You get 6 months of that. So that it's all up to your learning style. I don't care how you win. I just want to see you win. Okay? So let's keep them coming. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's go. Great questions today. Good to see you, Hebrew Hebrew. I probably tore up your name. Forgive me. Visionary JC Abruzzo. Good to see you. Shay. Do you think the auto loan interest rate write-off through Trump will be a real thing? Let's see. Auto loan interest rate write-off. Okay. Okay, I'm not saying Trump wants to make auto loan. Let's look at this. Trump wants to make auto loan interest rates tax deductible. Well, we don't know. It's not enacted. If it does become something, then great. Until something's in writing, then it's just something that we're talking about. It'd be cool. I mean, I'd love to see, Americans get more deductible, more tax write-offs and deductions. So, but that's something that we need to just play by ear. Now, what we do concerning our loans, you got to understand that these people are not our friends. Banks are not our friends. I hear some people talk about, I'm going to my bank. My bank, you own the bank? Well, no, I bank with them. Okay. If they weren't making money on you, they wouldn't be interested. So you have to understand, their job is not to be a fiduciary to you, which is to make sure you get the lowest interest rate in the market. This is very important to understand, because once this clicks, once you unlearn what you've been taught, you're going to see the goal of everybody in the car business. The goal, and I'm going to sum it up like this. I want y'all to burn this into your head. What's my opponent's goal to keep me from shopping? to keep me from shopping. Let that sink in. Every dealer wants to keep you from shopping. Every bank wants to keep you from shopping, because the people who they make the most money on are the people who do not shop. They don't shop competitors. They don't. It's not the negotiators. Their grandmothers on here that, look, we got people who literally Rosalie. She got a $60,000 2024 QX60 Infinity, $60,000. She ended up paying $592 a month, no money out of pocket. That's something we call a 1% lease, where your lease payment with no money out of pocket is 1% of the MSRP. She didn't get that by negotiating. Now Rosalie has grandchildren. She's probably, now Rosalie, she's a little tough though. She's somebody who used to negotiate, but yet and still, she didn't get this deal by negotiating. You get it by making people compete. And when you start to see that the bank's goal is for you not to shop, that's why they want you to get a pre-approval. I see you, Craig Boone. Craig, you locked in on YouTube. Good to see you. Once you see that, now you're going to know. So let me ask everybody a question on here. You're going to see, Galen, it doesn't matter. No matter what your credit score is, you still need to be shopping everybody who will approve you with your credit score. It's people with 750, 850 credit scores that the goal is to keep them from shopping. So if their goal is to keep you from shopping, what's your goal? What should your goal be? One word. If you know that the bank's goal is to keep you from shopping, competitive, and the dealership's goals who trying to sell you a car is to keep you from shopping competitors. Because once you start shopping competitors, you can see how much money is really in the deal that they're not giving you. What should your goal be? Let's go. Come on, Jasmine. Let's go, Zachary. Let's go, Mayor Bosco. What's the goal? I want to see if anybody. Thank you, Galen. Shopping. Thank you, Galen. She just nailed it. If you know that everyone who is out here is trying to keep me from shopping, my goal is to shop. So the way we look at when it comes to interest rates, you can all Google this, because what I'm about to tell you, you've probably never heard it before. Rate shopping, according to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, the three credit bureaus, rate shopping is when you let multiple people run your credit in a small period of time. It's a window. And if you do it within that window, it's going to have the same effect on your score as one hard inquiry. So one hard inquiry might lower your score. Once it processes, might lower your score 10 points. But if you rate shop according to how they tell you we can rate shop, you could have 12 hard inquiries and it'll lower your score the same 10 points. Because they expect you to car shop. They expect you to rate shop. But you can't go from dealer to dealer to dealer. Let this dealer run your credit. Let this dealer run your credit. Then you go over here, 2 months later, you let another person run your credit. This is why we don't do pre-approvals. Because if you notice something, the pre-approvals now come with time limits. This is how I'm going to prove to you the banks are against you. See, this is corporate greed. And what we do here is make sure that our community is armed to be able to win against corporate greed. Because everybody's not greedy, but 80% of them are. We call them the 80%. Our goal is to find the 20%. This is how you know the banks are against us. They used to do soft credit pre-approvals. Who remembers that? Who remembers soft credit pre-approvals? Type me. If you remember where you could go into the bank and you didn't have to give them a hard credit pull and they give you an idea of what your interest rate could be. Soft credit pre-approval. You remember that, right? Let's go. I told you the people who win with us are the people who are on their keyboard. We're only on here for about an hour a day live. When we asking questions, you want to win. Stay by your keyboard, and you're going to win. Look, all right, CBD Scampy. So you remember this. If we notice, soft credit pre-approvals went away as soon as the people started talking about pre-approvals. As soon as the market, the people, the community, the American public realized that in order to make sure I don't get scammed, I need to get a pre-approval. As soon as that happened, they took away. Now we need a hard credit pre-approval. You know what I'm saying, Tracy? You understand? Soon as, because what that did is it locks you in, because they realize once you do a hard credit pre-approval, you're going to be less hesitant. You're going to be more leery to let anyone else run your credit. And on top of that, they give you an expiration date. And they say, here, this pre-approval for $35,000 or $55,000, it's good for 45 days. After that, or 30 days, you got to come back and do it again. Now, what are you doing now? What are we doing? And again, if I wasn't in the car business, guys, if God didn't bless me to be on the inside, work with one of the best dealers in the country, where I was a finance manager and I understood the banks and I understand I had my own brokerage, I wouldn't know this stuff either. So trust me, I would be just as vulnerable as you guys. But because God has put me in a position, I could actually share this now because I don't work for any dealership. Our whole business is education. That is our business, and it's been our business, and it's going to continue to be our business by the grace of God. So when we look at how we rate shop, you don't want to get a hard credit pre-approval now, because when you get a hard credit pre-approval, now you're racing against yourself. Now you're out there trying to rush. Man, you got 7 days left on your pre-approval, and you're like, man, I got to hurry up and find a car. I got to hurry up and find a car. We don't want to do that. What we do, and in my book, I have a tool called the Perfect Budget Calculator. We use the average interest rate because the only purpose for a pre-approval, just like when we shop for houses, the only purpose for the pre-approval is to budget. That's the only purpose. Pinky Cole, good to see you. Ziggy Shop, good to see you. Gabrielle Marie, good to see you. That's the only purpose. So what we do is we use the average interest rate for a new car, if that's what we're shopping for, a used car, that we just take the average interest rate. I have a link to it in my book. And what we do is just simply plug that interest rate into the Perfect Budget Calculator. It'll tell you, put in what you want your monthly payment to be. If it's $450, you put in what state you live in, so it can factor the taxes. It already builds in the fees. It builds in the DMV fees and the doc fee. And then it'll tell you, based on what you want to spend, this is how much, based on what you want your monthly payment to be, it's going to give you 6 goals. Because some of you are like, Deshaun, what about a down payment? I got like $5,000, but I don't want to put it down if I don't have to. Right? If you're in that position, even if it's $1,000, if it's 10,000, 50,000, type dollar signs. These are things that I specifically I got this. This is real data from being in the car business and being, people would say, well, Deshaun, I could put up the $7,000 down, but if I don't have to, thanks for sharing, Michi. I see you. If I don't have to, then I won't. The way we need to do that is you plug that into the Perfect Budget Calculator. It's going to create multiple goals. If you want to be at this payment, no money down, you need to find a car for this price. It factors in the taxes and fees, everything. You need to spend no more than $28,300. Now, if you want to do a 6-year loan, it gives you multiple goals: a 5-year loan goal, a 6-year loan goal, because spending $450 a month for 5 years is less money than spending $450 a month for 6 years. So it gives you multiple goals, no down payment. And we might say, wow, why wasn't this stuff around before? Because this is the stuff that keeps them making money. This is the stuff that keeps you going in. All right, I know, I just want to spend $550 a month. And next thing you know, you're putting up the down payment, you're putting up everything. We have to step back from that system. That's why I say you got to unlearn that. The entire thing is rigged. And I cannot tell you more than, I can't make it any softer than that. Deshaun, is it really that bad? Every part of it, the commercials, rigged. What about, Deshaun, the deals at the end of the month? Are those really deals? Rigged. How do we know they're rigged? Well, you walk in at the end of the month. Everyone's in there. Do you think you're going to get a better deal with a showroom full of people? It's a carnival. They got the thing outside with the arms, balloons. Every time somebody buys a car, they ring the bell. You're sitting in the seat. They got two people in front of you. They got people walking out the dealership. The salesman is telling you, hey, Mr. Jones, listen, I know you wanted to be at 700, but listen, this car is $980. I could probably get the manager to go down to like 950, but you see, look, there's more people here than anything. Like now you're sitting here like, wow, I guess, man, all right, I guess I need to make a decision. And you're hearing other people buying cars. The place is packed. Are we going to get a better deal when the place is packed? Or let's go to a different scenario. You walk in on a Tuesday in the middle of on the 9th of the month in the middle of winter, and no one's in the showroom, and there's tumbleweeds flying through the showroom. When is the dealer more desperate? When there's 800 people coming in over the weekend, or when they haven't even seen a customer in a day? You're the first customer. You walked in at daggone 11:30 p.m. Thank you. Better deal when the place is empty. This whole system is rigged against us. So that's why the best place for you to be is right at home. When you go into that carnival, you're going into a machine. It's a machine. When you're at home, you're putting dealers against each other. You're putting banks against each other. And you are confident every single day. I just got this QX50 Infiniti. I just got this. It's a 2025. $2025 QX60 Infiniti. You can see it's a $54,000 vehicle. Okay. I got $8,000 off this vehicle from right here. In less than, took me, now you got to realize I'm me. I've invented this system. So I got it done in about 60 minutes. But I could do this in my sleep. It's going to take you about 2-3 hours the first time. About 2-3 hours. Eventually, you'll get down to 60 minutes. 60 minutes. My payment on this vehicle, now I leased it. Now, if somebody was buying it, I could have bought a brand new Infiniti, got $8,000 off, and just kept it. But I leased it, and my payment's $499 a month. I put $1,270 down. $1,270 down. My payment's $499 a month. $54,000 vehicle. It's not through negotiating. It's through creating competition. Everything I'm teaching is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. That is the system that has led hundreds and thousands of people at this particular point to below market deals. I share a lot of them in this broadcast, but that book is normally $97. It has everything in there. But as part of our welcome offer, you can get yours for 75% off for 30 minutes. It's $24 for 30 minutes. Just go to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Click the link that says get your book, activate your discount. It'll be there by the time we get off the broadcast. You'll have it in your inbox. You can use that book over and over again. Your cousins, your sisters, your spouse, your children. Used car deals are in there. Bad credit deals are in there. Everything necessary is in there. Negative equity, high mileage drivers. You high mileage drivers, anybody on here drive over 18,000 miles per year? Type HM. You need special strategies. You're depreciating your car way more than the average person. You can't just use the same strategies that other people are using. We have strategies in there specifically for high mileage drivers. And for those of you who want to see about shopping together, you want to instead of books, you like to watch short videos, 3-minute, 5-minute videos. Again, it's all a 7-step checklist. You just want videos instead of a book, or you just want videos and you want to be in our you want to be able to get your questions answered. People get the book and sometimes we'll get emails. Hey, Deshaun, I had a question. Look, I got a lot of books up here. I can't ask any of the authors questions. That's just the facts. So the books, and I'll be reading stuff. I love Tony Robbins' book, Money. I would love to ask him some questions about it. That's just not the way it works. But for those of you who are like, it's a do-it-yourself, that's a playbook. Tony didn't make that book incomplete. Tony didn't make that book incomplete. It's just some people might have questions, but that's just not how it goes with the book. The book's complete. But if you are like, man, you know what? I like to be able to ask questions to a community, to you, Deshaun. That's our Facebook group. That's the Shop with Deshaun program. See if you qualify for that. That's in the link. Same links. But, see if you qualify for that. It's all up to your learning style. All right. Thank you, Tracy Smith. You're lighting the likes up. Y'all are really lighting the likes up on TikTok. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Melanie Rose. All right. So let's continue with the questions. We're going to stay on for a little while longer. Let's see how many more we can get through. Dolan's pulling them in. So as you guys type them, questions, comments, we'll pull them in one by one. How much does credit score matter? Well, I like to see everybody, when you buy a house, you're getting ready to buy a house. This is why we want to get away from this emergency shopping. Every part of what I want you to do is start getting away from the emergency shopping. I see you, executive, on YouTube. You're a high mileage driver. Part of this emergency shopping is your anxiety. Because you up until now, you haven't had a process. So you put it off to the end. The anxiety continues to, just keep you delaying. And next thing you know, your lease is up in a week. Those of you, if your lease is up in a month or a week, or call and get an extension. Some of you didn't know that some leasing companies will give you up to a 6-month extension. You just have to pay tax. You have to pay some additional taxes on the payment, but you can extend that. I like to see you guys have 3 months to shop. Why? Because I like to see you have 3 months to say no. The programs change every month. The leasing deals change every month. Rebates and incentives change every month. Sometimes you reach out and a vehicle has just come in, the 2025s or just come in. They're going to be expensive. They're not going to have many programs on them. We had that happen December. A lot of 2025s had just come in. You wait until January, deals get a little better. Sometimes they stay the same. You wait till February, now you start to see the President's Day deals. So this is about incentives changing. This is about markets changing. And when you give yourself 3 months to watch the market and say no, now you put yourself in a position of strength. But in any case, if you can get your credit to what I call a safe zone, is that 670, 680 zone. You want to get above that 670, 680. That does not mean if you're at a 650, you cannot get things done. That's the manipulation zone. And I have something that I'll teach called credit profile. It's more about your credit profile. If you're a 650, for example, you got a high income and you have a car payment you've paid on time. Nothing really gets you approved for a car like a car payment you've been paying on time for 2 years. So when you see that, all right, I'm a 650, but I've been paying on this car $500 a month, I want to go and I want to replace this car. It's going to be easier for you to replace that car than a person who has a profile where they don't have a car and they're a 650, and maybe they are operating at a high usage, credit usage. So you're using a lot of your credit cards, they're up to the maxes, and now you're looking for more credit on that car. That could be tough. But in any case, you always want to have multiple people that you're reaching out to see, can somebody give me a better interest rate? That's just, if I'm a 650 and I need a car today, here's my mission. If I'm a 590 and I need a car today, my mission is to find the absolute best car. Wait, now hold on. I gotta preface this. What's up, Joe Ohm? Good to see you. Sheena Adams on the check-in. The first thing is the most important question. We talked about that at the beginning of the stream. How many years are you keeping the next car? Listen, whenever you skip that question, you're going to get blindsided by depreciation. You're going to have negative equity. You're going to keep buying when you should be leasing, and you're going to keep paying off cars. And then when you go to replace them, you're going to be upset at the value. You must ask yourself about the 8-year rule. The most important question is the 8-year rule. If I'm keeping my next car more than 8 years, I should be shopping for a purchase. If I'm not keeping my car more than a below market purchase, let's be specific. You can go out there, you can overspend by 5, 10 grand, 15 grand on a purchase, 20 grand on a purchase. And if you don't believe me, we got people on here that have saved a heck of a lot of money on cars. You got on some certain vehicles. Every vehicle is different. You got Sean, he saved 21 grand off his F-150 Lightning. You got Milligan. She got a $79,000 Mercedes EQE. She saved almost $30,000 was her best offer when she got her bids. So just because you're looking to purchase doesn't mean you could just go out here and wing the purchase. Some of you, the below market deal on a vehicle is 7 grand off. Sometimes it's on a small car, could be 3 grand off. On some cars, it's 10 grand. It's 12 grand. As you saw, it could be even more than that. But if we are not shopping to keep our cars 8 years, we're shopping for a below market lease. Below market purchase, more than 8 years, I'm keeping it. Below market lease, less than 8 years. Now, we don't have the credit. Let's say I'm a short-term person, Deshaun, I'm keeping my car on. I only like to keep them 3 years, 4 years, but I don't have the credit to lease. Here's with the mission. I want to get the least expensive car I could get a loan on. Because my mission is to set myself up where in 2 years I'm driving off a brand new car in a lease. I told you, nothing gets you approved for a car like an on-time car payment. So if I go out right now, I'm a 590. I go find my car because I'm a short-term person. I find my car. This is all in my book. Everything I'm telling you, this is not winging it. I'm just teaching you out of my book. If some of you have the book, you'd be like, yeah, this is in step 1. This is in step this. You'll be able to reference what I'm talking about in each step of the book. So now this is something we call the smart car strategy, saving money at the right time. It's going to look like, yeah, man, but I could afford to drive something bigger. Why do I want to drive this car? Because you're setting yourself up. You need to set yourself up so that you are making a car payment on time for 2 years on a dependable car. Make sure it's not going to break down. But I'm not looking to go and get a $5,000 because you're going to pay a higher interest rate. I'm not looking to go get a $30,000 car, pay a 20% interest rate, and then 2 years from now, when I go to trade it in, if I haven't missed a payment, meanwhile, those payments on that $30,000 car are probably going to be $800 a month because I'm going to pay 28% interest or 22 or 20 or 8, something high. So my payments on that $30,000 car are going to be probably $700, $800 a month. Now I run the risk of missing a payment, setting myself back from leasing, and the plan's ruined. But if I go and get a $12,000 loan, I go get a nice, small, dependable car, get me from point A to point B. I'm going to make sure those payments are made, $300 a month, every month. Make sure I get me a nice, dependable car. Smaller car, the better. No frills car. This ain't the time right now. The time for me to get the car I want is when 2 years, when I come and I go and get my brand new lease, I pull off in a 2027, brand new. Now I got the latest and greatest stuff. But if I don't have the credit, I'm setting myself up. Now, that's a short-term person. Bento, welcome to the community. New follower, welcome. Good to see you. If I don't have the credit, but I'm a long-term person, Deshaun, what if I'm a 590, but I keep my cars 8, 10 years, 12 years? Here's the mission. We're going to get bids. We use a company like LendBuzz. That's one company. You find companies that actually give loans with bad credit or no credit. We're going to pay more interest. Now, here's what you're going to do. You're going to bid out you need to get a below market car deal, regardless of the loan. Here's the problem with bad credit. Many of you go in, and because you have bad credit, you now get a 20% interest rate, and you pay above market value for the car you're buying. Because you go into a dealer and say, hey, well, if somebody can get me a car, then I'll just be happy. Meanwhile, they're charging you $22,000 for a vehicle you could have got for $18,000. So you overpaid for it by $4,000, and you're going to pay 22% interest rate. Talked about what we talked about earlier, where you did 2 transactions. That's 2 transactions. What we're doing is, let's say I'm looking for a Toyota Camry. I want to get me a nice Toyota Camry, $20,000, 30. Within 100 miles, I'm gonna know about every Toyota Camry if I'm shopping for a used vehicle. We got this whole system in our book. We go on every website. It's like we shopping on Amazon, but we shopping for used cars. Once we narrow it down to the best car, based on title history, service records, accident history, we verify what the brand new price of it was to make sure we're getting a good discount off the brand new price. Very important. Very important that every time we buy a used car, we know how much it was originally priced. That's what's going to tell us the real discount we're getting. If a car was originally 50 and we're getting it for 22, then okay, that's different than a car that, all right, well, this one's 20,000. This one's 22, this one's 20,000. But that one that's 22 was originally 50. That one that's 20,000 was originally 40. I know we're doing a lot of unlearning here. You got to be ready. I told you when we come here, that's why I say get your keyboards ready, because we are about changing everything you've been taught about how to acquire cars. If we know that this vehicle got a bit, we call this the true value discount. How much was that car new? So once we find the best used car, now I already found the best price used car. Now I'm calling LendBuzz. Hey, I need a loan. Now I'm calling people. Hey, yeah, I know it's going to be 18%, 20%, 22%, but I got a dependable car, a great car. I'm going to keep it for 8+ years, 10 years till the wheels fall off. And here's what I'm going to do. As soon as my credit gets better, what do? Because I'm keeping the car, but I got a 22% interest rate right now. I got a great price on the car, higher interest rate because of bad credit. But as soon as I fix my credit, what am I going to do? Let's go. Complete the sentence. What do we do? Let's give everybody some time to type. Let's go. Who's going to get it? Thank you. Golfer. Refinance. Thank you. See how we're making plans to win? We're operating with a strategy. I just got a great deal on my Toyota Camry. I found the lowest price one. I found the person so I didn't overpay for the car. I got the below market deal on the car. But my loan, because my credit's bad, my loan's 22%. That's okay. I'm going to work on my credit for 18 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years. And as soon as my credit's good, I'm going to refinance that loan into a good interest rate. Now I got a great interest rate. I got a great car. I won. Type $ if you understand. Type locked in if you locked in. If you understand, type that locked in. Type the lock emoji. Type $ if you understand that particular strategy. And these are the things you refer to over and over again. This is why I want you to have the book. This is why I want you to be able to look at this stuff over and over again. Follow these things step by step. If these things are all about a checklist, what I just told you, that whole strategy I just told you is how we operate from front to back. But what I like you to do, the way I teach, is step by step. Because when I start teaching you all the steps at once, you're like, wow, okay, wow, that sounds great. But wow, how do we get all of that done? You get it done step by step. That's why when you open the book, we started earlier. I see you, Executive, locked in on YouTube. I see you, Black 3 BK3WL, locked in. CBD Scampy, been locked in the whole broadcast. This is why when you open up anything we do, whether you're using the 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships, my digital book, or you're in Cars from Home, done with you, your best deal in 7 days. It's 7 steps. And when you focus on one step, let me get that done. You know what it's like? If you call me, and this is really how it started. This was really my wife. when people would call me, when I was in the car business, my family would call me, my friends would call me because they kept making bad deals, and they were like, listen, I got to call Deshaun. Deshaun, what should I do? And what I would do is tell them, ask them a question. How many years you going to keep this car? I'll probably keep it about 5. Oh, no, man, I keep my cars till the wheels fall off. We just did step 1. You'll see what I'm saying? That's step 1 right there. It's not, none of these steps take 2 hours to do. Some of these steps you're going to be like, man, by the time you do your equities, answer the most important question, let that dictate whether you're going to purchase or lease. You've done step 1. Then you move to your equity assessment. You do that online, takes you 20 minutes. You're like, man, I'm already done with step 1, step 2. But you're not thinking, the people who, in order to win, you can't come in thinking about, okay, when am I going to shop? When am I going to shop? No, just go through the checklist. You'll get down there at step 5, we'll be shopping. But if you understand that we walk down a predictable path that creates competition the whole path for you, it makes the market compete for our business every step of the way, then you'll stay right on each step. When you get to step 7, it's delivery. Step 6 is paperwork. All right, we're going over extended warranties. We've already made our deal. We're going over, let's look at extended warranty. Let's look at tire and wheel protection. Do we need it? Based on where you live, based on the tires that you're getting on your car. Do you have a vehicle with low profile tires? All right, well, do you live in a smooth area with no potholes? It used to be Florida. Now we're getting snow and there's salt on the roads in Florida, so there's going to be more potholes. But people in Florida used to never need tire and wheel insurance because all the roads were smooth. So when you look at, okay, these are the questions we ask after we've already made our deal because we're preparing for step 7, which is pickup. That's the process. That's what I want for you guys. I want you to have a very predictable process so the anxiety goes away, the confidence comes, and every single time you make a deal, you're guaranteeing that you didn't leave any money on the table. Somebody will make you a bet. As soon as you're driving off in your car, hey, I bet you $10,000 I can find a better deal than that. You take the bet. Because you're going to know, I shop the whole market. Within 100, 150, 200 miles of me, I shop right from home, and I made sure in literally 90 minutes, there was no better deal on the market. And that's the confidence. That's the confidence that we want you to have. That's the confidence that all of these people you see me share, you know, from India to Ansley to Vincent, Jen. You know, some of you know Jen with the high mileage lease. She got a high mileage lease on her Honda, $563 a month, 18,000 miles per year. Some of you didn't know, hey, man, I didn't know we could do high mileage leases. Yep, we do them all the time. First person I ever learned about high mileage leasing from was a customer. He had a car with 72,000 miles on it that he was returning. And I said, this is a lease? And he explained to me that he said, I'm in sales, man. I drive almost 25,000 miles a year. I never buy my cars anymore. And he was only paying about $175 more than the average person. That's it. Not 300, 400, 500, $175 more. He was driving every bit of mileage he needed to drive. And he comes, he gets brand new cars, drops them off every 3 years, never has to worry about, negative equity, big down payments, none of that crap. All of this is what I want. Same confidence they have. So go grab your digital book. That's the blueprint. That's going to walk you through 7 steps to below market leases, purchases, new cars, used cars, the bank bidding war, everything we teach about negative equity, how to get out of it, high mileage driving strategies, the bad credit strategy. It's all in there in the 7 steps. Okay. And you can get your copy it's normally $97. You can get it for 75% off for the next 30 minutes. Go to my TikTok bio, the Instagram bio, my Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments. Just click those links, and then you'll see special book, 75% off. But get there before the timer hits 0. Once the timer hits 0, it's $97. And that's still worth it. So a lot of people have gotten the book for $97. They didn't know about the welcome offer. They just found it on my website. That book's worth every bit of $97 and then some. But if you get there before 30 minutes, you get yours for $24. And for those of you who want to see about the Shop With Me program, where we're going together, where you hop on Zoom calls with us twice a month, and you're in our private Facebook group, so you can get your questions answered throughout the week. you can certainly click those same links and just click Shop with Deshaun. See if you qualify for that program. That's not for everybody. There's certain people in that program that we just don't like to see in the program because we can't guarantee your success. But everyone else, we love to see you there if that's your learning style. All right. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Maltropics. Thank you, Yankees. Thank you to everybody who hit the like button. You ran the likes up here. Appreciate you all. SRL. You know, Terry Williams, good to see you, Nancy, CBD Scampy, everybody who was locked in on Instagram, YouTube. I appreciate everybody. Craig Boone, executive, welcome. Thank you. And for sure, I will see you guys on the next stream. This was a good one. I appreciate you all.